Hey there, Gregory Carlson here for 2.1 Part 3. We've just got two quick application problems for the midpoint and the distance formula. So here we go. It says the average annual cost of tuition and fees at a four-year private college during 1983 to 1991 are shown in this graph. So we can see that the cost has gone from $5,013 to $9,963. And so it asks for the graph to the left, find the approximate cost in the year 1987. So let's see, we've got 1983, and here we've got 1991. So 1984, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 90, 91. So this graph is just going up 1 year each time, and we want to know 1987. So 84, 85, 86, 87. There's 1987 right here. So in other words, we would like to know this is the point 1987, comma what? What is that question mark right there? What is the cost for that year? And so the question is, do you think we're going to use the midpoint formula or the distance formula to find that value? And as you can probably imagine, we're finding the dot in the middle of two dots, so we're going to use the midpoint formula. So to do that, we're going to add our x values and divide them by 2, and their corresponding y values divided by 2. It's pretty straightforward. So this should be our first year, 1983, plus our second year, 1991. All of that being divided by 2, and it should be their y values, 5,013 plus 9963 divided by 2. And then you're just going to simplify that. So maybe what I should have done is I should have pointed out that our first point was 1983, comma 5013. And our second point was 1991, 9963. So those were our 2 points, x1, y1, x2, y2. So let's simplify that a little bit. Let's do 1983 plus 1991 divided by 2, and we get 1987. And that's really important, because if we didn't get 1987, we know we did something wrong. Because remember, we're trying to find, our first number should have been in 1987. We're trying to find the cost for that year. So that's how you know you're on the right path, if you get 1987 for that first number. Now let's do 5013 plus 9963 equals, divided by 2, 7488. So the answer to the problem is 7,488 is the approximate cost in the year 1987. So that's a use of the midpoint formula, pretty straightforward. So this is the point 1987, comma 7,488. That's what the coordinate of that point is right there. Let's do this last application problem and we're done. The table lists how poverty level income cutoffs for a family of 4 have changed over time. Use the formula to approximate the poverty level in 1987. So you can see over here we've got 1970, 80, 90, 2000, and 2004, and we also have the income level cutoff for different poverty levels for those years. So remember how I said we needed to get 1987 in this previous problem? Well, we need to play around with this to see how to get, what year do we want? We want the year 1987 for here as well. So, like for example, watch what happens if we try. Watch what happens if we try to do 1980 plus 1990. We get this divided by 2, and we get 1985. So if you try to do the midpoint formula with these two, you're going to get the point right in the middle, which is 1985, which makes sense. 1985 is halfway between 80 and 90. But that's not what we want. We want 1987. So you should play around with this a little bit to try to find the midpoint so that it equals 1987. And it turns out that it's going to be this point and this point, which is actually good, because when we find the midpoint of these two, it uses more of the information that's given to us. So let's do that real fast. We're going to do 1970 plus 2004 divided by 2. And before I do that, let's make sure that that gives us 1987. Add them together, divide by 2, and we're going to get 1987, which is what we want. That's the midpoint that we want. And it's nice because we're using all the data. So let's add their y values, 3393 plus 19226 divided by 2. There's the y values. So 3393 plus 19226 divided by 2, and we get 11309.5. And we're talking about money, so we should probably do 2 decimal points. So $11,309.50 would be the amount of money for the cutoff for the year 1987, approximately. So that would be your answer to that application problem. So there's 2 examples of using the midpoint formula in an application problem. Hopefully it made sense. Notice in this problem there was a lot of unnecessary information, and we had to play around with it a little bit until we found the 2 years that gave us the midpoint. In this case it was good because we used the 2 endpoints, which are more representative of the whole of the data. Hopefully all of that made sense. If you have any questions, leave it in the description of this video. I will try to get to them. I hope if you are not in my class and you like this video, I hope you will like and subscribe, and I will see you next time for 2.2. See you then.